Right. Hello. Okay, so we're live. Hey everyone. This is the first episode of Anatomy of Rumors. I'm your host Shabahat Ali, and joining me today as a co-host is Mr. Rahul Bakaya. Um, so the whole goal of this podcast is to basically explain demand gen and talk demand gen, and we're not just going to be limited to demand gen. We're going to be talking about every aspect of marketing. It's a little bit about myself. So I run Australia's first demand generation agency, actually, called Rumors, and we're focused particularly on B2B SaaS companies. And now, Rahul, what about you? How do you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm a learner in marketing, and I currently work for a software company, Prospecta Software, and I look after their marketing globally. And I take a keen interest in what's happening in the world of marketing, whether it's from academics, whether it's from someone spreading a rumor.
Love that. Right, Rahul. So what I'm assuming is that Prospecta is a B2B company, right? So you focus mainly on B2B marketing?
That is right. Yes, yes. So focus morely on business to business because the buyers and the influencer involved are all part of a business team, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, it's a B2B.
Okay. For the audience here, I just want to add one more thing. Rahul is being humble here. He's also an author of a book, which he didn't mention. We were just talking offline about it. Rahul, do you want to give a bit of a reference about what book you wrote?
Oh yeah, actually, speaking of the book, this is my book. So it is titled as "How to Explain SEO to Your Boss or to Anyone." Uh, so this book is not about people who already know SEO or who are experts in SEO, because they will read this book in like 20 seconds. They'll be like, yeah, I already know all of that. This book is about how you will explain SEO.
Hmm.
Understanding SEO for marketers is easy. If you are coming from a marketing background, and if you've got a little bit of digital marketing background, I think it's fair to say that they can understand SEO quite quickly. On the other hand, explaining SEO to a non-marketer is the tough gig. And most of the times, budget resides with people who do not have background in marketing. So you need to pitch, you need to explain your plan for yearly SEO to someone who is not from a marketing team, and that takes skills. So that's why I wrote the book.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah,
So, all right, if you're struggling to get some budget for SEO because the boss don't understand it, well, we've got a solution for you, right?
absolutely.
All right, Rahul, let's get into it, man. I've got some questions lined up here to keep the conversation going. And since this is our first episode, I wanna start with the real basics, because what I've seen and what I've noticed is that we try to make things too complicated, and a lot of the times what we're missing on
Yep.
is the basics, is the fundamentals. So let me give you the first topic. The first topic I want to talk about is defining sales and marketing, basically, because I've seen a lot of people don't even know the distinction between sales and marketing, particularly in the B2B space. So, what is sales and what is marketing, Rahul?
Oh well, that's the question, and everyone will be opinionated on this question, right? I will give you my opinion of what sales is and what marketing is, right?
Mm.
I'll start with sales. I think sales is where you explain the benefit of a product or service to a customer so that you have a business deal, so that you transact, right? The skill lies in how you explain the benefits of a product or service that will serve the customer. So the customer in the world of capitalism will pay a certain amount of money to get that business deal done. I think marketing is a bit different. Marketing is where it's a subject where you help the customer or help the product to change the thinking of the product in the mind of customer, the way they perceive the product, right? So marketing is training the customer to think about the product the way you want them to think, so that you help them to make the right decision. Giving you an example, the sales is where you will go to a customer and say, hey, listen, this book will help you to learn about SEO. Marketing is when the customer says, I already know about that book. I've read the reviews. I like that book. Where can I buy it?
Hmm.
Your marketing is not working when a salesperson goes like, hey, listen, I've got this book that will explain you how to do SEO. And the customer will go like, oh, I never heard of this author. Why do I do this? Why do I buy this? Why can't I buy the other authors? You know?
Hmm.
So that's I think the intricacies between sales and market, right?
I think you're totally right. So the way I go about it is basically I look at both as I look at sales as a capture demand, and I
Mm-hmm.
look at marketing as creating the demand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, ultimately, both are moving towards this same outcome, which is revenue, but the objectives are different.
Right.
In sales, the objective is a conversion, and for
Mm-hmm.
me, in marketing, the objective, like you said, is intellectual stimulation.
Yep.
It's to communicate what the value prop is and how to actually see us, right? So,
Right. Absolutely right.
yeah, excellent.
I like the word intellectual stimulation.
Exactly, that's what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Telling them how to think about us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
B2B is crawled with marketers doing lead gen. And I know I've seen your LinkedIn profile, and I've seen you've got demand gen in there. So that's why I was really keen on getting you on this podcast, because not a lot of people get the distinction between lead gen and demand gen. So what is lead gen, Rahul, and what is demand gen?
Right. So if I will give you a set definition of these two terms, you'll get a lot of disagreements and no one will understand. So if you have read my book, I give a lot of anecdotes. I give a lot of examples. So I'll give you an example that will differentiate between what demand gen is and what lead gen is, right?
Hmm.
So consider you go and buy a coffee from your barista, and there's a new barista in town close to your house. This barista, when you go to him for your coffee, uh, whatever that coffee may be, the barista tells you, um, here you go, this is the punching card. If you buy 5 coffees from me, the 6th one is free. However, if you get another one of your mates to get a coffee from me, I'll give you a free coffee. Right? That is short term, because what he's doing is he's getting his customer to get another coffee customer within a day or two. Right? So that's not long term thinking. That's immediate result. That's immediate revenue for him. That's where lead generation comes in. Right? Lead generation is short term. You'll get results short term, but you need to act on it quickly. Demand gen is when you will have the barista and will start talking about coffee beans. They'll start talking about the different tastes, um, different types of coffee beans. Some are from Ethiopia, some are from Africa, some are from Mexico, and they're different tastes, different smells. You come to my coffee shop, I'll let you smell each and every coffee bean. You'll have an experience. And then, taste the coffee over here, right? Pay good money and taste coffee and go. Then the customer will go to 10 more people and will be like, oh my God, this barista near me, you got to test it out.
I love
He
that.
literally gave me coffee tasting. He is the expert in coffee. Now, really? I need to go and Google him, check him out. And then when he's Googled, that barista is Googled, you're like, oh my God, there's amazing reviews about this barista, right? I need to go and check it out. And then that person will go and check it out, and then there will be just Boolean algebra of networks coming into his coffee shop, right? But that barista spent time on understanding the coffee beans, narrated a story, changed the perception about coffee within the minds of the customer that no one else could do. So he worked on his brand, right? worked on a strategy, worked on how that person will approach the customer, right? And we'll talk about brand as well later, but how the person approach the customer, what kind of conversation you'll have, and didn't care about the leads. All he cared about, I'm going to give them the best experience so they will come back and spend more. So demand gen is long-term returns, but recurring revenue. So you just not spend money with me now, but you'll keep spending with me again and again, because of the experience that I offer you, which is unique, and no one can replace it. So that's the difference, lead gen, demand.
You are an author. Like the way you added colors to that, the analogy, I absolutely love it. So what I'm gathering, and I 100% agree with that. So the primary difference between the two is intent, right?
Intent, yes.
Exactly, right? So, and mindset. So lead gen, you're looking short-term transactional. How can I get you to convert, which is basically not marketing, which is sales. And demand gen is basically how can I add value? How can I provide an experience, and how I can communicate how you will enjoy or experience this product, right?
Absolutely.
And it's like common sense, which one's better, right?
Absolutely.
Would you even oh, sorry, yes. Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. Would I even consider? What's the question?
Would you even consider lead gen as marketing?
No.
Love that. Yeah,
No.
same.
Lead gen is not marketing.
Exactly. It's sales
lead gen,
enablement.
It's lead gen. I would say it's sales because that's revenue, purely revenue focused. You don't care about anything else. Care about generate a lead, convert into SQL or SAO, and get me the revenue. Right. Demand gen is more marketing. It's more nuanced, so it takes time. Yeah.
Then this, like, you made it so clear which one's better among the two, right? With that analogy of yours, you can clearly see as a logical person which one's a better route to go and which one is basically beneficial in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that you and I see that, but a lot of B2B vendors don't see that? Why is most of the market in lead gen mode and not looking at demand gen and not looking at executing marketing in a way which the customer actually wants? Why do you think? What's the core reason?
This is a good question, right? So it's a difficult one. I don't want to upset a lot of people if I want to say it, but
oh man, go for it.
I think the main problem is, and this exists in B2B tech. And the issue is that you are not able to define the role of marketing in B2B tech. I mean, if you go to a building company or a pharmaceutical company or an FMCG, they don't talk about lead gen, do they?
Yeah,
right?
true.
They don't talk about lead gen. Lead gen is in B2B tech. And the reason is because, number one, sometimes sales and marketing are not aligned. The thinking, they're not aligned, right? When I say aligned, that doesn't mean that they think the same, but the way they are thinking is moving in the same direction to the same goal, right? And what is that goal? That goal is business goal. So what is business goal? Business goal just can't be revenue. It can't just be revenue. Business goal has to be bigger than that. We want to become the best marketing software in Australia. That's a business goal, right? I want to become the best marketing software in Australia within the next 2 years, within the next 4 quarters. That's a good business goal. I want to get 1 million in ARR in this financial year. That's a revenue goal. So the problem is a lot of companies tie marketing to revenue goal. And that's where the problem comes. When you tie things to revenue goal, everything is about revenue. Everything's about, okay, I'm going to hire a marketer. Marketer's job is to generate 500 leads in this quarter, so they can, with a 20% of conversion, they can have these many SAOs, and with that 30% of conversion, they can have this much worth of pipeline. Right. But how is that achieving the business goal? You may get all the revenue you want. getting all the revenue is not going to make you the best marketing tech software in the world or in your country, whatever that is. It involves how people think about your product. What values do you have? What is your messaging? How do you treat your customers?
Hmm.
What experience do you give them once they are onboarded as a customer? So they stay as your customer. So they talk good things about you, right? Those things are not seen because marketing is not aligned to the business goal. They're aligned to the revenue goal. Marketing should be aligned to the revenue goal. I'm not denying that. But first, I think both sales and marketing should be aligned to the business goal, the company goal. I think that's where the
Hmm.
problem is.
So that that brings an interesting question to light then. If you're saying revenue is not the goal, then what is the goal? How do you measure the performance of your marketing?
So revenue is a goal, and it should be, right?
Hmm.
We should be measured on revenue. Everyone should be measured on revenue, right? But marketers shouldn't be solely hired on a revenue goal. It should be hired on a business goal, right? That's what I'm
Hmm.
trying to say. So both marketing and sales should be aligned on business goals, right? And that's why we have KRAs coming, like, and KPIs coming, key performance indices. Right now we are measuring marketing on how much demand, how many leads you can generate, and based on the conversion, how many sales accepted opportunities you can create. But guess what? Now marketing doesn't even have control over opportunities and close deals. They can control the quality of FQLs that will convert into SAOs and SKU. So marketing in this whole structure is bound to fail, right? Marketing in B2B tech should be measured, in my opinion, should be measured in three key areas, right? So there are three key areas in marketing in B2B. It's product marketing, it's brand, and it's demand gen, right? Or you can add more to it. It's customer success, but then customer success goes into another team, which is sometimes sits outside marketing, right? So product marketing, basically, you need to be the custodian of the experience of the product. You need to work with your product teams. You need to see how your product is performing. Are you getting good reviews of your product? Before, I didn't have any reviews. I'll give you very tactical examples, right? Now we're getting into the grassroots. Before, we didn't have any reviews on G2. Now we have 2,000 reviews on G2. Measure us on that. No one was talking about us now. Now there are 2,000 people talking about us on a website which gets an average traffic of, I don't know, 100,000 people a day. We have increased our reach. That's number
Hmm.
one. It's product marketing, right? People are talking good about our product. Demand gen. Measure how many MQLs you have generated, but measure the quality, right? Uh, if you have hot, cold, or warm leads, assign lead scoring based on what you think is aligned to your business goals. And how many hot leads do you have as compared to cold leads or warm leads? That's number one. Number two, within the demand gen piece, also add, again, going into very tactical things like, what's your CAC?
Go
What's
for
your
it.
CAC, right? What's your customer acquisition? What's your cost to acquisition? Has it gone up? Has it gone down? Are you getting more revenue from a customer spending the same amount of money that you did in the previous financial year? Or are you actually spending more money and getting less revenue? But that's demand gen. You got to work on those things, right? Is your pipeline, the time to close your pipeline, time to close your opportunity from, say, for example, register a deal to close a deal, is it shrinking or is it increasing? Well, if it's increasing, there's something wrong. You're not engaging with everyone in the company. You're just engaging with someone who can sign it. You're not engaging with influencers who are actually going to use the product. What are you going to do there,
Exactly.
right? So that's
Exactly.
demand gen. The last is your brand, which we spoke about. What are people thinking about your product? So say what will people think when they hear rumor marketing? Like, oh, rumor. So I'll give you an example. Someone asked me, like, how would you measure brand? Like, brand is not tangible. Brand is not tangible, right? How would you measure brand, right? And I'll give you a small anecdotal on how you would measure brand. I'll take an example of sneakers, right? The Nike is one of the biggest and best brand, and every marketer will go and give an example of Nike, right? So if you want to buy a Nike sneaker, right? This is the power of brand. You go to the sports, Nike store, amazing experience, right? You see the most beautiful blue red color with the shades of some green, and that beautiful Nike logo with the bubble in it. That's beautiful. I want to own it. How much is it? $375. Okay, all right. I don't have that kind of money. What do you think the next thing customer will say? We don't have the budget? No. The next thing customer will say,
that's the price.
Okay, is that the price? Let me go and arrange some money for it because I want to buy it.
I'll ask for an extra shift with my boss.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
B2B branding needs to be same. You need to make your brand so strong that when you go to a tech buyer shouldn't say, we don't have budget for this. They should say, let us find budget for this. When someone starts saying, let us find budget for this, you have built a brand. Because they want to associate with you.
I've got another. I actually did a post on this on LinkedIn. I think, and exactly on this point, that there's a common myth in B2B marketers that brand can't be measured. I would say there are actually very tangible ways you can measure a brand.
Right.
If you're doing brand activities, take a report and go into Google Analytics or Search Console and see if the branded search term is going up.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? If you're doing brand marketing, your brand search term is supposed to go up.
Yeah, your direct search will go up. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So, and secondly, what's happening is people who are coming inbound now, they are aware of your company, they're aware of the value prop, so they're not. Your sales cycle is supposed to go down. There's less convincing that goes into happening, right? So if your sales cycle is getting shorter, well, your brand is working, right?
Yep.
And then if your retention rates are going up, that's another sign, because people want to stay affiliated with companies that do good, right?
Yeah.
We want to stay affiliated with big brands and good brands.
Yep.
So there are very tactical ways you can actually go about measuring a brand. So yeah, I mean, love that. Excellent. That was actually the next question. What is brand? I think we already covered it, right? But yeah, I mean, and I think, Rahul, brand or brand marketing gets a very bad name because I believe as marketers, a lot of people have hidden behind that phrase to actually not perform. Oh, we're doing brand, so that's why you're not getting anything, right? You'll probably see the results in 10 years. I mean, that's not necessarily true. If you're executing brand properly, you will start seeing results. It's not going to be immediate, like it's not going to be the next day, but in a short term, right? You could see it over 30, 60, 90 days, you could start to see some trends, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely right. I think, please go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to actually get your take on this. How would you actually define brand? Like, because these are some things that don't have set definitions. You can't go to university to learn about the definition of brand. So everyone has a subjective opinion on this, and I want to know yours.
Yeah. So look, I've touched on this before as well, and I stole this line from Seth Godin on brand, and he said, and I'm not quoting him in verbatim, I'm just quoting him, paraphrasing him, is brand is how you change the perception of people about your product and services the way you want to, so that you serve them better. I think the serve them better bit is forgotten most of the time. So the first part where you talk about perception is complete marketing and sales, right? Because you control the conversations, you control the overall look and feel of your product, you control the argument, the discussions, the language that you use. The part where you take care of the customer is customer success. So when it comes to brand is, you will be surprised, people still think brand is graphic design.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
still think,
Brand
oh,
is a
brand,
logo.
oh, you gotta, are you using the right colors? Right? No. So brand is an umbrella which encapsulates marketing, sales, inside sales, BDR in tech, and your customer success. I'm telling you, customer success team is critical part of brand. Or any team who is talking to the customer or prospect is a critical part of brand. So strategically, uh, if you want to make sure that you have certain kind of perception of your product, you need to make sure that trickle down through all the teams. So in your messaging, in your product collateral, that messaging needs to trickle down. The way sales team talk to their prospects, customer, that needs to trickle down. The way after sales services talks to the customers needs to trickle down, right? And I'll give you a perfect example of this, right? Uh, have you used HubSpot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use HubSpot in our company. Yeah.
Yeah. So right from the start, right, when they are selling you HubSpot, till when you have account manager, till when you have technical manager and renewals manager, the way they speak with you is consistent. It's respect. They are helpful. They're going to look after you, right? I have spoken to few reps from HubSpot, like, right? I've used HubSpot 3 times, right? Every time, like 80% of time, they have told me this. Don't worry, Rahul, we'll look after you. It's a simple sentence, but it carries a lot of weight, right?
Oh,
So
totally.
you know, HubSpot is a company that looks after their customer, right? That's why the renewal rate would be, I mean, to the gazillion, right? So that's a brand. They built up that brand. They stand on some core values, which I think Dharmesh, their CEO, is very very strong about, and that trickles down through all their customer facing team. Yeah.
Excellent. So what I'm understanding is that from your opinion is more so brand is the experience, the customer experience, and more about that after the acquisition, that's when the brand journey starts in your mind. I have actually a slightly different opinion on that. I believe brand is demand.
Brand is demand. What what what
Simply.
what is
And and
that is a simplistic. I like simplicity. Like, how do you reach to that?
so demand, and when I say demand, I don't say demand for the category, I mean demand for your business.
Right.
Right? When people exclusively in your category want to come and buy from you, that's because of you have a brand,
Yeah.
right? And the way you reach that is obviously the second part of that is crucial to building a brand is having evangelists, and the evangelists are basically created through what you're just talking about, the customer experience, right? Because someone's bought your product, they've had a great time, they're going out in the market talking about it, and then you're doing marketing as well. You're creating your own demand, they're creating new demand for you as well, and that's how people are coming to your business specifically in the category and ignoring all the rest. And that to me is a brand. When you stand in a marketplace, there's a bunch of other options. When someone chooses you, that's because of your brand. So that's my opinion about it.
I want to see Rumor doing this exercise with a customer, and I want to learn from it.
The
I think
rumors is on its path.
I think that's an interesting take on it. I would love to learn from how you would apply that, because that explanation sounds very workable and tactical. It looks like, okay, all right, I can think of 10 steps I would implement tomorrow that will help me achieve this. So if you ever get a customer who's doing it, I want to learn from it.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, it's simple demand generation execution, right? If you're just executing marketing properly, I think you are building brand as you go if you're executing marketing properly. Well, not if you're doing lead gen. That a lot of people think they're doing lead gen and they're building a brand. Like we build this trade show booth and we're building a brand. No, well, you're actually specifying yourself for a certain set of audience. You've communicated that you understand them so well and that you're positioned as a peer. that's when you get on that journey, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, excellent. th- there's a there's a term that Chris Walker has sparked on LinkedIn,
Oh,
and and it's everyone's talking about it, right? No one had no it was around for more than a decade. No one was talking about it, but now it seems to be all the rage. It's dark socials. Um, and I want to know your take on dark socials, like how do you optimize your marketing for dark social?
wow. So I haven't seen Chris' take on dark social. What is it, if I may ask?
So dark social is basically Chris is a proponent of the fact that attribution softwares are flawed, right? And that your attribution softwares are not giving you the full picture. Like for example, let me give you an example. So someone has seen your ad on Facebook, right? They didn't click, they didn't do anything, they went straight past it. But now they've seen your ad, they know the value prop. 2 days later, they come on through a Google search onto your website, request a demo, and buy. You go
Hmm.
back into a CRM or your analytics software, attribution software, it tells you, oh, this was an organic search.
Hmm.
But the fact of the matter was that was actually a dark social because he saw it on socials, didn't click on it, and went that way. So the actual attribution is that they saw your ad or they saw you in social media.
Right.
That's what the source is. So yeah, that's dark. And apart from that, if you talk about like you call me and say, hey Shabat, have you checked out Marketo, for example, right? They're a great CRM. You should use that. Like Marketo's attribution software won't track that,
So it's
but
word of mouth.
it basically word of mouth and play any place. No, it's not just word of mouth, but it's any place that they can't, like this podcast, right?
Yeah.
If someone listens to this podcast and comes by from us, attribution software won't be able to tell us this
Yeah,
came
I
from a
think I think
podcast.
that's an interesting take, Shabbat, and the attribution is a troubling term. Right? No, I'm not saying because marketers are scared of attribution. I mean, in my years of being a marketer, attribution has always worked in my favor. To be quite honest,
Hmm.
I have shown the business that through our marketing activities we have generated so much pipeline. So attribution has always worked for us. It will always work for marketers, right? You may not get one deal or two deal, but you'll get like 10 deals somewhere else. But attribution then goes back to my initial point. If you're so hungry about attribution, then you're not actually aligned to the business goal. You're actually aligned to the revenue goal. And then it will end you up in trouble again and again. And I'll tell you one thing, right? This is my understanding why marketers who do, like not all of them, but who do care so much about attribution is because every quarterly business review, they will be asked by the leadership team, all right, what did your campaigns fetch? Right?
Hmm.
What was the revenue, etc. I can tell you, my hand on my heart, you know, good salespeople, they really don't care about how many leads you give them. They're good salespeople, like seasoned salespeople I've spoken with. All they care about is how when I go to the customer, if they know about the product already, I feel so proud. My job is done. I go to them, they go like, yeah, I know your product. I see your LinkedIn post. Yeah, I see this, I see that. Job is already done. Like they love it. They love it, right? Salespeople are smart. They're savvy, right? They can dwell around the deals and the companies and everything, etc. They don't need your help, right? When you generate leads, right? And then you go like, hey, this is attribute to this campaign. What's going on? Then you annoy them
Hmm.
because they don't care about that. They care about revenue and they care about business goals. So marketing needs to care about revenue, but also care about business goals and
Hmm.
forget about attribution. I mean, a lot of software companies have been making a lot of money out of attribution. I mean,
Yeah,
uh, just don't make it your priority. I would say
exactly.
keep
Just
it
don't
keep it in a
depend on
back
it.
burner. Don't depend on it, right? Don't
Hmm.
depend on it.
Exactly, exactly. And I think social media, where it's created so many great things for marketers, it's also created this. these metrics, and like modern marketers are obsessed about them. They don't. That's what's taken them away from business goals and focus on CTRs and CPMs.
Yeah.
So, and I think social media is partly to blame for that.
You
Next,
know,
I want to.
hey, I'll touch on a funny
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
I'll
sure,
tell
sure,
you a
sure.
funny story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you touched upon CTRs, right?
Mhm.
You know what happened, like with Apple and iMac and everything iOS, right? You can't get shit on the CTRs anymore, right? Good luck
Mm.
with having HubSpot email CTRs, matrices, right? Apple said, F off. We're not going to give you that data. And right
Mm.
so, you shouldn't, right?
Mm.
So this is, the other day, I was saying, I send emails. This other guy saying, I send emails, I get 0 click rate. Like,
Mm.
can you go and check, like, what's your receiver? What's the operating system? iOS. It's like a lot of Apples. Like, yeah,
Mm.
damn yes. But what are you going to do with that CTR? If you get 80% of open click-through rate, what are you going to do with that?
Mm.
What fruitful thing are you going to do with that that's going to help customer with that CTR?
You sparked very interesting things. So the people who send me cold outreach, Rahul, they must have an amazing CTR. It's probably going to be close to 95% because I
Yeah,
open every single one of them to delete them.
absolutely,
So and
absolutely.
they're back in the HQ going, oh yeah, 95% CTR, we're crushing it. They don't know that that shit's getting deleted over there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah, man. Yeah, I want to touch on the next big thing, the buyer's journey.
Yep.
We we as marketers have been trained to think that the buyer's journey works in a funnel. Like we put an MQL at the top of the funnel, right? And we send them a sequence of 10 emails, and then a hot client drops out at the bottom. That's what we've been trained to think as marketers. That's what the buyer's journey is. Would you agree with that?
If you'll ask me this question maybe 6 years ago, I would,
Hmm.
but now no, because that was very lead generation approach. Because
Hmm.
if you understand, if you just look at this funnel, right? So funnel is top marketing, bottom marketing, bottom of the funnel marketing and sales,
Hmm.
right? All it talks about is conversion, 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 right? And so someone who is being left out from top of the funnel, so middle of the funnel to bottom of the funnel, you just throw them away in a nurture campaign, rightly
Hmm.
so, right? But I mean, I like this approach from HubSpot where they have a flywheel model, right?
Hmm.
And I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs using that flywheel model. Uh, Not actually in reality, but obviously in their strategy, they use that approach where everything is continuous, right? So you have engaged with someone who was unknown to your business,
Hmm.
right? And then the way you engaged with that person is with an intention to genuinely help that person,
Hmm.
right? And how do you genuinely help a person is the definition can be different. You have a problem. Here you go, get a free demo, like 30 days free demo. Use it, and then let us know how you go with. The demos get a lot of bad rep, like free trials get a lot of bad rep, but I love them. You know why? This is a great opportunity for a flywheel model to act. So, say for example, you go and download a free trial, 30 days free trial for marketing software, martech software, right? Now, if I'm following a flywheel model, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that you get all the materials to have a successful and eventful trial period, 30 days. You would love it, right? The second thing I'm going to make sure is I'm going to keep a pulse check on you. Hey, how did you go? Do you have any? I'm sure you're going to use a trial. You will have doubts, right? But to make your process easy, so you know where to go when you have a doubt, is very important, right? The
Hmm.
third thing is engage customer success early.
Hmm.
Tell them, hey, listen, uh, uh, I think you're working on an attribution model where you want to attribute your social likes or social engagements to a particular deal. Uh, Customer B also had the same issue. Here you go, case study, read it. Here's an extra template you can use straight away. Helping that person out with an intention, that that person does his or her job better, not that he starts paying.
Mm.
The intention of a trial should be you make that person better than what he was a trial ago. Right? Once you make that person better than he was a trial ago, that person will definitely buy your software. And I'll give you an example with this as well. If I know a MarTech software is going to get me a promotion one day, don't you think I'm going to spend the money on it?
Oh, of course, man.
Of
You're
course,
going to
right?
go in depth for that, of course, right?
So I'll give you an example, perfect example. SEMrush, SEMrush. How do you pronounce it? SEMrush or SEMrush? That's the topic going on. Is it
From YouTube ad, I've heard SEM Rush, I think.
Oh,
In
yeah,
their own
SEMrush.
ad. Yeah.
SEMrush, yeah. So SEMrush, I downloaded a trial. Man, they took care of me, man.
Mm.
The BDR is sending me, hey, listen, you gotta use this. This is an amazing tool. You gotta use this template. What are you using? Are you doing it for keyword research? Are you doing it for content? I'm like, look, I want to research what content I can write on. Here you go. Here's the link. Use this. Oh my god, wow. So I used SEMrush probably 20 days out of 30 days, which is a lot. 20 days out of 30-day trial, which is a lot.
You must have been a qualified lead in their system.
I was literally begging them, can you please give me a discount? I want this. I want this. How much is it? How much is it? So at that time, I mean, obviously SEMrush is not very cheap, right? So I went like, okay, give me a 6-month subscription. I collected money for 6 months. Give me the license. I want to use it, man. I want to use it. And then I use it and I audited a lot of websites. You know how good SEMrush is in auditing a website? It's pretty good, right? And it can give you the suggestions. Oh my God, it was just a dream come true, right? So that's an experience, right? So that's a flywheel approach. What they didn't do is throw me away because I couldn't go from middle of the funnel to bottom of the funnel. They put me on a flywheel and they keep contacting. They contact me today as well. So they know when I have a budget, I'm going to buy from them.
Love that. So what I'm taking away from that is that basically you meet the buyer where they're at in their buying journey instead of trying to manipulate the buyer journey. That's the best approach to go about it in today's world, right?
100%. You can't sell someone who's already aware of the challenges problem and say, hey, do you know what are the challenges with marketing? Of course I know. I live them every day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just tell them, hey, here are your challenges and this is how you solve it.
Exactly. Great. And I think this is a perfect segue, and because you use SEMrush and you talked about product-led. So product-led go-to-motion is obviously all the rage right now, and particularly in B2B SaaS. Is Prospecta a product-led, or are you guys like sales-led or marketing-led?
What do you think?
I have no idea about the product, but I think you guys are enterprise, so I think you'll be sales-led, wouldn't you? You guys are very enterprise.
What is it that made you think we are enterprise-led?
I don't know. I remember our first conversation. You told me that you guys work with billion-dollar companies to begin with, so that's why I thought maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I mean, Prospecta software is at a pinnacle of where it wants to be. I mean, it's an amazing Australian company, right? So, I mean, there are not a lot of Australian tech companies, right? To be honest, there are a lot of US tech companies, but now we are having Australian tech companies coming in and going global, right? So Prospecta is one of those companies, and so they are enterprise, very enterprise, but they also address a lot of mid-market as well. We are looking into the mid-market solutions. When it comes to marketing and Prospecta, I mean, I won't obviously go into detail with that due to confidentiality reasons, but Prospecta, like any other tech company, was product-led, right? Because product is the hero, right? Product is something that's going to solve your problems. And Kudos to our audience. They are very educated already. They already know what they need. They already know their problem. They already know exactly what they need. Just need to give them the product, right? So when you start in tech company, you got to have a product-led approach wherein you are ready with your product collateral. You are ready with your presentations, your data sheets, everything. Best of the best. You got to create those product collateral, best of the best. So someone looks at that product collateral, they go like, "Oh wow, this is amazing." Right? You got to develop use cases. Then obviously you move towards the demand gen part. Demand gen always should come after product. You can't start demand gen if you don't have product collateral ready,
Exactly.
right?
What are you creating demand for?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So demand gen, but at Prospecta right now we are working in tandem demand gen and branding,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
So that's
Great.
what's happening right now. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. I wanna take your opinion on what do you think, because B2B marketing is still pretty much in 2010, right? And B2C is very fast and innovating, and it's always coming up with some really good marketing tactics, right? So what do
Yep.
you think, in your opinion, B2B marketing can take away from B2C?
Oh, a lot. I mean I think that's a good topic for a 1 hour podcast. But
Pretty much
yeah,
everything, right?
yeah, pretty much everything, right? So look, I mean, ma- marketers in B2B make B2B marketing as so high and fi. It's not, right? It's B2C marketing with multiple buyers.
Exactly.
That's what B2B marketing. B2C is transactional. You only have one buyer most of the time. B2B, you have multiple buyers. So you got to convince multiple people who come with different agendas.
Mm,
But they're all human beings.
exactly.
They consume the knowledge in the same way, right?
Exactly.
They read the same thing. They read the same English. They enjoy the same videos, etc. I think what we need to get from I think B2C does it very well is they stick to basic principles of marketing. They don't sway away from basic principles of marketing. They, I mean, they do a lot of neuro marketing. I mean, have you heard about neuro? These guys are getting inside your brain and thinking how they stick to psychology. That's what I like about B2C. They stick to
Mm,
psychology, how human brain thinks,
mm,
how human brain decides, what are the cognitive biases during the decision making process. B2C excels in that, right?
mm.
B2B is worst in that,
Because
right?
B2B just wants leads, right?
You just want to lead.
Yeah.
You gotta when you're championing marketing is a tough job, right? And and all marketers should be proud of getting into marketing, right?
Mm,
All marketers should be proud of getting into because it involves scientific and creative methods together, only field, right?
mm,
But you forget about the creative field of it. You junk it. You don't use your creativeness. The moment you get inside B2B, it's all about numbers, 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 numbers. No
mm.
one is talking about messaging. No one is talking about, you know, psychology, consumer behavior. No one is talking about what the customer journey should be like. You know,
Mm.
how can you? And when you go into B2B marketing, you ask them about customer journey. It'll be more like, oh yeah, this is where we generate a lead. This is where this touches BDR touches sends another email. That's not the customer journey.
Yeah. That's the journey you're trying to design. That's not the
That's a
natural
journey.
customer journey, at
That's
least.
not a journey, right?
Yeah.
Ask that same question to B2C marketer,
Mm,
right? You'll be amazed
mm,
of the responses. I have worked in a B2C marketing in B2C marketing as well. B2B marketing. I wasn't a B2B marketer throughout my life. I was into B2C as well. And yeah, they think differently. B2C marketing doesn't think leads always.
mm, mm.
No,
And I
unless
think
it's
it's a
e-commerce.
yeah, and I think it's a misconception that there's only multiple stakeholders in B2B marketing, right? There's multiple stakeholders in B2C marketing. I mean, have you ever bought a piece of furniture? Was that just your decision?
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
that
Yeah,
wasn't.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Rahul, in terms of crafting your ICP, right? In terms of picking a market segment, it's a big debate whether you should be niche and focus on one particular segment of the market, or you should be broad. What's your take on that?
Depends on your product offering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think you get that answer not from a marketer, but from the founder or CEO. I would always suggest if you want to get a tick box on your ICP, right? Don't start experimenting. Speak to your founder, speak to your CEO. Because CEO or founder will have that vision. Because with that vision, the CEO started that company, right? And that vision is strong and steady. So invest time and spend some time with the CEO. Again, reaches out to the business goal, right?
Hmm.
Uh, you want to be number one marketing software in finance and banking. It's quite niche,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the platform is built around that. You can't take my marketing software and start selling to, I don't know, maybe mining companies.
Hmm.
Platform is not built around that, right? So start focusing on that. If your product is built for that niche, perfect that niche, work on your strong points, then focus on expanding. You gotta
Hmm.
expand. You gotta expand,
Hmm.
right? Otherwise, if you don't expand, you don't innovate, and then you will diminish. But
Hmm.
first, work on your strength. Most of the time, what happens is, and I've seen this with marketers as well, they work on their niche, they perfect their marketing messaging on the niche. Yep. Here comes the competitor. Now they are working on the other niche. And they were like, now we got to beat that. Now we got to go and, get into that niche as well. No, you don't. You don't. You need to first, because guess what the competitor is thinking?
Hmm.
He's thinking the same thing. I got to beat this guy, right? You
Exactly.
don't. All you need to do is serve your customer. Don't
Hmm.
think about your competitor when you're serving your customer,
Hmm.
right? Because if you're going to follow what your competitor is doing,
Hmm.
your priority becomes your competitor, not your customer.
Man, that
Right?
is just gold, right? And
Right?
that's what everyone's doing. Like, focus on the customer. What the
Yeah,
hell are you doing thinking about the competitor? The competitor
absolutely.
is not paying your bill.
Yeah,
It's the
absolutely.
customer. So just focus on the bloody customer, right?
Yeah,
And
but
pick the one that you.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this instance, right? So, and this is the power of brand. This is the power of brand, right? If you have a strong brand, right? If you have a strong brand, you will never compete with another competitor, right? When it comes to closing the deal, right? Customer, if you have a strong brand, customer will never go like, that guy is offering me $100 less on a license. Doesn't
Doesn't
come there.
matter. Yeah.
Doesn't come there
Price is
because
not the
you
point.
have built a brand in a way. Customer wants to pay that extra money because
Hmm.
he wants to talk to Shabat. He wants to talk. "Hey, that's a nice bloke. I'm ready to pay more money to talk to some nice bloke who can help me out."
Hmm.
Right? I don't want to be price sensitive and maybe talk to someone who I don't trust.
Hmm. Exactly. It's not
Right?
about saving $100. It's about getting that value, specific value prop that's coming from that particular brand.
Yeah. But we digress. Yes. So question to you. ICP, I think the best source in a company for ICP is start with the founder.
Hmm. Okay.
Start with the CEO.
Great. I want to talk about my next question, and I think you're the perfect person to ask this because you are working inside of a corporation and you see the inner workings and you have a good vision of that. What parts of your marketing should you outsource and what parts of marketing you shouldn't outsource?
Hmm. Great question. Great. I think when it comes to uh, so I think very differently on these things. I think very to most of the marketers, I think very differently on these things, right? and a lot of them may not agree with me. I think when it comes to expertise that are more expensive, um, if you hire someone, you should outsource it, right?
Hmm.
Um, but when it comes to expertise that will shape your strategy to get to your business goal, that should be in-house. That just
Hmm.
shouldn't go out. That should be in-house.
Hmm.
Um, things like, I'll give you an example. Things like, uh, I got to be very careful, right? I don't want to sound like, outsource this, outsource that,
We can clip the parts you don't want, so just say this is not live.
right? So there was this company who started doing virtual marketing managers. This is a very good example, right? I'll talk about this, right? So virtual marketing managers, and I'm not talking from a corporate perspective. I'm talking from a business when it makes sense to outsource everything.
Hmm.
So imagine this: that you got to do digital marketing in general, and you need to hire someone who will do SEO, who will do PPC, who will do paid social, organic social, right?
Hmm.
And then you decide, you know what, I'll hire someone in-house. And maybe your budget, I'm just throwing out figures, they don't have to be exactly right. I'm just going to pay someone $5,000 a month to manage everything. And the business can go like, that's pretty cheap. I can then get it in-house. But that's not cheap actually, right? Because you're hiring a person, you then need to give him tools. Then you need to allocate budget on ad spend. Then, if you're going to hire a digital marketer, obviously that person is not going to write you copy,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? You're
They
gonna you're gonna
can't.
you're gonna spend money on copy. Then you're gonna spend money on the design because digital marketing is gonna do Adobe InSuite on design and everything, right? Um, so all in all, from 5K now it lands up to 12K.
Hmm.
So this guy came to me and he was like, "Yeah, just give me, I'll take all your digital marketing. I'll have a virtual marketing assistant." So I'm like, "What's the difference? Like, why would I give it to you?" He's like, "Rahul, okay, let me explain you this, right? In the team that I will give you, so say for example, if you want to spend $5,000, we'll give you maybe 20, 30 hours a month, right? The team that I'll give you, I have a PPC guy with 25 years of experience. I have a copywriter with 10 years of experience. I have an SEO guy with 20 years of experience. So getting all that, all they need to do is spend 1 hour and get the things done. That will take your guy, 20 hours or 30 hours, right? Double
Spot
productive,
on.
but a lot
Yes.
of experience. A lot of
Spot
experience.
on.
So so that's the example, right? If the expertise that you want to hire is way more expensive, then probably outsource it. It's the
And
expertise. The word is expertise, right? The experience, the number of years of experience. Yeah.
absolutely. I think there's a couple of things here, right? And I think you touched on that. So you can't outsource strategy and vision. Anything that has to do with strategy and vision, you can't outsource that. And when we peel back the layers, what that basically means is you can't outsource a job which requires understanding your customer intimately,
True.
because an agency would not go that far for you,
No,
right?
absolutely. Yeah,
They would never go for
that's a good way to
exactly.
put it. Yeah, that's a good
and
way to put
and
it.
and where you can outsource though is where speed is of the essence, right?
Hmm.
You want to roll out this campaign and you want someone who's a gun at PPC, right? And you don't have that in-house. Instead of going out interviewing 50 people, why don't just get an agency who's been doing PPC for 10, 20, 30 years and just get them to do it?
Absolutely.
In terms of speed, they can bring that to the table.
Absolutely.
So last thing that I would throw at you, Rahul, is I want to put you in a hypothetical scenario.
Right.
You are a CMO at a Series B or a Series C company. You guys are doing about 10 million ARR, right? And you've come in and it's time to set a budget for marketing. How would you allocate your marketing budget?
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, man. I know you have a fever, but I had written these down. I had to go
No,
through them.
that's a look. That's a good question. That's a that's a good. Look, putting up budget depends on at what stage the company is at. If the company is at Series B or Series C, I would think that product is all set, all good, ready to go. Right. So
We have a product market fit.
I wouldn't spend too much money on product marketing. Right. Now, if you're in Series B, Series C, I would think that within 3 to 4 years you decide to go public. Right. So I got to spend a lot of money on demand gen. I got to spend a lot of money on no, not a lot of money because you still have 10 million ARR.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So I got to spend. I'll do a split, maybe 40% on demand gen and 60% on brand.
Love that.
Because what you want to do is the moment you go public, everyone would want to buy a chunk of your company, so invest in chunk of your company. I would probably go. The way it will look tactically is we will create. We probably spend money on streamlining. If there's a trial process or if there's an initial customer prospect engagement process, spend money to streamline it better, so you have more conversions. Number 2 is spend marketing dollars to expand in current accounts. So if you're getting $100,000 ARR from a specific account, how can I make it into $300,000 ARR account? Because that's what investors love, right? You had this account, you had 20 licenses. Now that account has grown 120%. Right? That's what they like, right? That's where I'm going to spend demand gen dollars, right? Then I'm going to spend the same demand gen dollars on making sure that I get A-class customer reviews everywhere I go. A-class customer. Whether it's Trust Radius, whether it's G2 review, gotta be 5-star everywhere, right? And those folks, they run amazing campaigns. You work with them, and then they will help you to get those reviews as well. With branding itself, probably make sure that work on how you're going to talk about your product now. Right? This is a good time to start investing in your PR. This is a good time to get all your executives, all your leadership team, give them, each of them, a PR copy, how they will address the journalist. Don't say a word outside that copy, all right? And get everyone speaker trained. Speaker training for executives, I tell you, is very critical. You need to make each and every person in your leadership team A-class orator whenever they go out. Whenever they go out, people want to listen to them, what they have to say, right? So they wanted to be invited in seminars and conferences, etc. That's where I would spend marketing dollars into get that up and running, get more conferences, get them ready to go to public,
So you're a brand heavy marketer. I love that. I like people like you. We need more people like you in B2B, man. We need to give marketers a good name. Rahul, this has been great. I'm sorry, this was my first time. I don't know how I didn't know how I do.
You did
I
great.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I loved it.
I enjoyed it.
Learned a lot of things from you. Anything that we haven't touched on? Any closing thoughts you might have? What about giving someone who's just starting out in marketing? How should they go about their career? How about that for a closing thought?
In B2B space?
In B2B, yes.
Okay. One thing I'll tell all the young marketers who are just joining is there is going to be a scarcity of marketers who don't understand basic principle of marketing. There is going to be a scarcity. Like you will go to them and so basic principles. So the moment you get into job, be an expert in copywriting. Be an expert. You should look at a problem and write and design an ad copy within seconds. Right? Be an expert in copywriting. Be an expert in storytelling. Be an expert in narrating. Be an expert in the 4 P's of marketing: product, pricing, people, etc. And then based on that, obviously, I'm inclined to brand. Be an expert in brand, right? All this MQL, SQL, SAO, 30% conversion, 20% conversion. When you work with sales and BDRs, you will get trained on that anyways. There's no actual education, actual hard work, hard learning you need to do in that space. But the psychology part of marketing is where you need to study. So there will be a scarcity of those kind of marketers 5 years, 6 years down the line. That's
Excellent,
what
Rahul.
I would recommend.
Excellent. So what Rahul is basically trying to say to every aspiring marketer is focus on actually doing marketing and not sales bullshit, okay? Be a marketer.
Listen to Seth Godin instead of Gary Vaynerchuk.
There's a distinction for you right there. Excellent, Rahul. It's been amazing, man. If someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way for people?
LinkedIn. Just shoot me a message on LinkedIn. So long as it's not let's catch up for a coffee so I can sell you a software, I will be more than happy to respond to you.
You're looking for a handsome guy in black and white with a golden LinkedIn logo. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever is listening to this or watching this, we would love your feedback. This was our first attempt. Anything that we haven't addressed or you would like us to address, we want to keep going. We will probably, the plan for now with Rahul is to do this once a month. As Rahul becomes more available, we will increase Rahul's engagement and we will bring on other guests to the podcast as well. Thank you so much. Please share your feedback with us. Thank you, Rahul, for joining me today.
Thank you, Shaba. Thank you so much.
Had a
what a
blast,
pleasure.
Man.
Likewise. Cheers.